Hello folks, yes, we are no doubt living in an era where crossover SUVs rule. However, somehow, someway, the traditional three-box sedan still finds its place in the market today, signaling that many of you still value some of its merits over a crossover SUV. Perhaps that is the key driver as to why national car maker Proton decided to finally develop a successor to both its Preve and Inspira C-segment offerings with the new Proton S70. My name is Tariq Azmi and you're watching caricarzcom. Alright, launched late last year, the Proton S70 is effectively a rebadged iteration of the Geely M Grand sedan. However, I want to argue that Proton have given some significant upgrades in their rendition compared to the Chinese badge original, and it is very evident in terms of styling, especially in flagship X form as tested right now. Plus, if you opt for the S70 from the premium variant and up, you'll benefit with a number of key styling touches like full LED headlights, matched with full LED taillight with a LED taillight bar running across the tailgate. And the bonus here is that both these features boast very cool startup and shutdown animation that looks very nice, especially at night. Alright, for this video, I've decided not to keep things too long-winded. I've narrowed things down to just 5 important questions, and whatever I have to answer from there might just help you decide once and for all if this left-field C-segment sedan alternative is worth your buy.
Is it spacious and practical?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes, 5 adults or the equivalent of a small urban family. Not only spacious, all variants of the S70 also see their basics covered very well because all firstly feature dedicated rear air conditioning vents. And those rear vents I showed you earlier gets paired with an automatic air conditioning suite should you opt for the S70 from the premium variant and up. But if you shell out more ringgits for either the flagship or the flagship X variants, the comfort factor is bolstered further by the addition of plush artificial leather upholstery, power adjustable driver seats, as well as a number of key luxuries and tech like dual digital displays, including a center infotainment touchscreen that offers a whole lot more connectivity functions such as voice command and navigation. But if you don't mind spending a lot more to get the flagship X variant as tested, you'll find that it also comes with 2 very tasty additions as standard, those being a sunroof and a dash cam. And whilst we're still on the cabin, I would also like to highlight one more bonus, and that is that it boasts very respectable levels of noise, vibration and harshness, or NVH suppression levels. Now obviously with sedans, the real space comes from its third box section, by which I mean the boot, and in the case of the Proton S70, you get no less than 500 litres of standard boot space before you even drop the rear seats. Now, I don't know about you, that's a lot of boot capacity indeed, and I will also add that it even features a proximity sensor for automatic unlock, meaning you don't have to fumble for your keys in your pocket or your bag, so as long as it's on your person, you can just approach the car, press the button and it will pop.
Does it have a lot of features?
Okay folks, the short answer to this is that it is respectably good. However, there is one piece of bad news I have to convey first, and that is the fact that no variant of the S70 currently offers either Apple CarPlay or Android Auto connectivity. Yes, this is very annoying and quite a massive deal breaker for some of you out there, but don't worry, I have been told that Proton is working hard to fix this situation and things could change any day now, so fingers crossed. Back to the S70 as is, and you'll be glad to know that Proton has covered all the basics very well on this front too, because all variants, including the entry-level executive variant, come firstly equipped with keyless entry and push-start ignition button. Very neat, very nifty. From the get-go, all variants offer smartphone and Bluetooth connectivity as a basic function as well, and there's no less than 5 USB ports present in the car, 2 of which are in the rear seats, and there's 3 up front. But I'm sure eagle-eyed viewers will probably be wondering, wait a minute, I only count 1, 2. Where's the third one up front? Well, this is a very neat detail because the third USB port here is right above your rear view mirror, and it's a dedicated power source for your dash cam, and I think this is a very neat detail. I think this is a feature that all cars should have today. Now, in terms of the digital display combo I mentioned earlier, these are exclusively equipped only in the flagship and flagship X variants. Don't worry, in the lower end premium and executive variants, you still get a digital center infotainment touchscreen matched with an analog meter panel, but the touchscreen in those two variants is a bit smaller at 8 inches and it lacks a number of added functions such as navigation and voice command. Should you be willing to spend the ringgits for the flagship or flagship X variants as tested, you will benefit with this larger infotainment with the added features mentioned, plus a very nifty and very convenient 360-degree surround view camera. Oh, before I forget, for the flagship and flagship X variants in particular, they also come standard equipped with a wireless smartphone charging pad.
Is it nice to drive?
Yes folks, in fact the Proton S70 is a very nice car to drive, not just compared against a lifted high-riding crossover SUV alternative, but also when compared against a number of its Japanese batch B and C segment rivals. I will also argue this is where Proton's upgrades over the Geely batch original really shines, and that's because firstly, the powertrain. In the Geely M Grand original, it's a naturally aspirated 4-cylinder petrol with a CVT transmission setup, which doesn't sound all that exciting. Well, that's not the case in S70 because it uses a 1.5-litre MPI turbo 3-cylinder petrol mill matched with a 7-speed DCT transmission. And yes, before you ask, this is identical to what you'll find in the non-flagship variant of the Proton X50. Outputs are similar as well. It makes 148 horsepower and 226 Newton meters of torque. Drive goes to the front wheels. Pace is respectively rapid, with Proton claiming 0 to 100 in just 9 seconds. More importantly, it's also quite an efficient setup because Proton claims if you set this car into eco mode and drive it right, it will sit as low as 6.2 liters per 100 km. Overall, those sound very impressive indeed. And I will also add that you get the bonus of the selectable drive modes mentioned. Besides eco, there's also comfort and sport. Obviously, sport is where this car's throttle response and pep really comes alive. But that pales in comparison to the fact that this car handles really well. This is the one you want to carve corners with instead of its high-riding X50 crossover SUV cousin. And I think that's also the same reason why Proton chose the S70 to be the base of its new racing car that we saw at the Malaysia Auto Show earlier this year.
Is it safe?
Yes, in fact, just like the way it drives, this is an equally safe car to be in, and that's because the basics are covered well. Firstly, all variants of the S70 come equipped with no less than 6 airbags, ABS brakes, as well as traction and stability control suites, plus automatic hill hold assist and automatic brake hold. That's pretty impressive, but if you go further up into the flagship and flagship X variants in particular, the basics get bolstered with a tire pressure monitoring system. Pretty neat, pretty nifty indeed. There's also some ADAS features present across the board, namely rear collision warning, lane change assist, rear cross traffic alert, as well as door opening warning. However, if you shell out the extra ringgits for the flagship or the flagship X variant as tested, you'll benefit with a full-blown level 2 rated semi-autonomous driving experience, all enabled by a full-blown ADAS package, which includes things like intelligent and adaptive cruise control with stop-go function, lane departure warning, prevention and centering control, autonomous emergency braking and forward collision warning, traffic sign recognition, as well as the 360-degree parking camera I showed you earlier. Now, I don't know about you, but this is yet another one of those cars that could almost drive itself, but it comes at a very accessible price point. And that leads me to my next question and argument.
Is this worth it versus a crossover like the X50?
Now, the answer to that question, in my honest opinion, is a very strong and resounding yes, and I'll give you 3 reasons why, starting with price. Now, when compared to a crossover SUV like the X50, starting prices for the S70 are actually a lot more affordable, a lot more accessible. In fact, when you compare the prices for the entry-level S70 versus the entry-level X50, the difference in price is a staggering 13,000 ringgit. I will also add that with the S70, regardless of which variant you choose, even if you shell out all the extra ringgits for the flagship X variant as tested, you are not breaking the 100,000 ringgit mark. And for that, you are getting a car that not only drives better, you're also getting a car that delivers arguably better practicality thanks to its bigger boot space as shown earlier. And you're also getting a car that still doesn't compromise on safety. Last but not least, the S70, like its predecessors, the Wajah, the Preve and the Inspira, delivers on one thing perfectly, and that is a package featuring C-segment-like size with C-segment-like premium perks, but at affordable B-segment-like prices. Now, I don't know about you, that's not just a deal, that's in fact a steal in my books. And that's basically everything I can tell you about the Proton S70 as a whole. Very clearly, you can see that it is one of the best value for money propositions available in our market today. And if you don't mind shelling out all the ringgits for the flagship X variant as tested here, you should know it costs just 94,800 ringgit excluding insurance. By the way, all variants of the S70 see their prices include firstly, a 5-year unlimited mileage vehicle warranty plus up to 6 times free labour service. For the flagship and flagship X variants in particular, their prices also include a 5-year free data package capped at 1 GB a month, and that is specifically for you to fully utilize its advanced infotainment features, namely the media streaming, navigation and voice command features. Overall, I have nothing else to say other than if you really want a sedan that has it all at an affordable price, you need not look further past the S70. Well, what do you folks think of the S70 then? Hit the comments below with your thoughts. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and as always, visit caricarzcom/news for more.